Dos here, and today we're heading out to a spot that so many of you have recommended to me, and I'm finally getting the chance to go out and check it out. Devil's Elbow. I'm really excited to get out here, and it's a pretty gnarly track to get in, I can assure you of that. Now, Devil's Elbow is a sand spit or a sandbank on the side of the Calliope River. Don't know how it was formed, but nonetheless it seems like it's supposed to be a pretty good fishing spot, so we're heading out there to check it out. This track is fairly steep heading down, and I wouldn't want to be coming out here after a heap of rain or when the track's wet, because these are a lot steeper than they look on camera. Now, I did come out here during the week to scope the place out and have a bit of a look to see if it was worth coming out here and doing a video, and unfortunately since then we've had a few showers of rain. It's been dry for a day or two now, so I figured the track should be good, but I'm just taking it really slow because, you know, you don't know what's on the track, and it is a really steep bank off the side there. If you go off there, it's a long way down to the water. Now I'm just doing the descent in second gear, low range. You could probably do this in an all-wheel drive car as long as the track's nice and dry. I don't see why that wouldn't be possible. It wouldn't hurt to have somebody there to help get you out if you get stuck. But yeah, I'm just in low range four-wheel drive, second gear, and just letting the car drive itself down the hill. All I'm doing is steering and feathering the brake to make sure we don't pick up too much speed down these gnarly tracks. So now that we're getting down towards the bottom of the descent, I'm starting to see a little bit of water lying around, which is worrying me a little bit since I'm out here by myself and it's only about 5:45 in the morning. I don't think anyone's going to be coming along to pull me out if I get stuck. So I'm going to take it really easy and just try and straddle the ruts like I did when I was out here the other day. And as long as we can stay out of the ruts, we should be just fine. Now, looking up the river there on the left, you can see that little bit of bank. That's Devil's Elbow, and that's where we're heading. And looking back down the Calliope, that's back out to the ocean. Right, so we've had a little bit of early morning disaster out here. It's been raining a little bit on and off, so it's pretty wet, and I've slipped into the ruts. And these ones here, they are way too deep for this patrol. And I can't seem to get out of them because I'm stuck into them, and then there's a big hill behind me, and I can't get back up that, so there's no way I'm going to get through here. I'm just going to diff out. Still got the standard wheels on the patrol. Guess I'm going to be looking for some sticks and fishing's going to have to wait. Right, I ended up getting through, but I had to throw a lot of logs and stuff in there to build those ruts up. I'm just going back to make sure none of them are sticking up that's going to damage any other car that comes through behind me or me on the way back. So yeah, I got pretty muddy. Wasn't real fun, but that's what it's all about, isn't it? You get out there and give it a go. Sometimes these things happen. Don't come out when it's wet unless you got good tyres. I guess that's the moral of the story. Alright, I'm going to move these timbers and I'm going to get back into it. I'll see you up there. So I'd say the track in usually takes about 25 minutes from the bitumen, somewhere up to about an hour if you get bogged on the way in. So that's a little bit of a guide to go by. It is a pretty long dirt track in. Follows the power lines most of the way in, and then you got to cut across to the river through this track here. As you can see, it's pretty rutted out, but some people have put some chicken tracks in, so I decided to just follow them to avoid getting stuck yet again. Righto, so I'm just coming past the old access down into Devil's Elbow onto the sand. You don't want to take this one unless you're up for a real challenge, which I've had enough of this morning. That's pretty steep. If you keep going down a bit further down the track, there's another one people have cut in, so it's a lot easier. It's definitely the one I'm going for. So here we are, we've made it down here onto the sand. Doesn't look like I got the descent on film, but we'll definitely get the ascent coming back up. It is steep, it's the bit I was most worried about, not those ruts, but tracks like this surprise you. But I've got to find my fishing shirt, or use the other one to clean my hands off a little bit before getting back in. Just realised I forgot my sunnies too. That's what happens when you leave in the dark sometimes. But nonetheless, we'll get set up, we'll try and catch some bait, and as usual, we'll try and get into some fish. So here we go. Before I forget, here's a quick look at it on the satellite, just so you know where you're going if you decide to head out. Oh no, the mozzies are pretty bad out here. You certainly wouldn't want to be doing it without a long sleeve shirt, and definitely some Bushmans, I'd say. Oh, I did remember them. Where would I be without these, eh? Anyway, I think I'm going to go for a little bit of a walk around before I put a line in. I know it's not like me, line in the water, priority number one, just in case, you never know. But just going to go for a walk while it's low, see where the snags are. Have a look, make sure I'm parked on high enough ground. I mean, they're big tides at the moment. I think this is the high water line here, so we're right up on the sand where everyone parks. Not too far from where I am. Last thing I need is that getting stuck again. Look at this morning out here, guys. Beautiful. Now it's got this little gutter here, or little creek if you want. You can see there's a pretty big log caught out in the mouth of it. Definitely something to watch out for if you get a fish on, you'll be wanting to steer clear of that. But other than that, it looks pretty snag free. Fair bit of run, obviously been on this big elbow. Now it's such a nice glassed out morning here. I'm sure the fishing's going to be good straight up. People keep telling me how this is the spot for getting big salmon and big jewies. Jew season's already closed this year, unfortunately. It only stayed open for a couple of months. But I'd like to get onto some big fish nonetheless. It doesn't matter if you can't keep them. Sometimes it's just about having a bit of fun. But I like eating them too, just so you know. Today I've brought with me just some potty mullets out of the freezer. I catch them whenever I get the chance, and if I've got any excess left, I like to freeze them. I'm not a big fan of buying commercial bait. For one, it's expensive, and two, it might not be the bait that the fish in the area are used to. Right, so as a result of taking the kids fishing with the missus the last few days, as good as it's been, I'm missing a little bit of gear now. I can't seem to find the lip grips because they're pretty fun to play with, and the bells I use I set up on the rods while I'm filming, and that way I can hear if I'm getting a bite, if I'm off doing something else. I found one bell, but usually I've got 2 or 3 of them, so could probably live without them, but it's going to be hard landing those big fish we inevitably catch without the lip grips. So just gonna have a dig around in the car for them. So I never found the lip grips, but it's not too steep of a bank, so hopefully if we get any fish, I'll be able to just drag them up on the sand. That sounds like a boat in the distance. Alright guys, that boat rocking up was my mate Aaron, so I jumped in with him and we went and got a few live bait. Got a nice little steely salmon. I don't eat them, but I know some people who do, so more than happy to help them out. But we're back now. Got a little bit of, was live, fresh bait. Let's call it fresh bait. I'm gonna rig these up with that fresh bait and we'll see how we go. Now I was lucky enough that when I was in the boat with Aaron doing the net, he did have a second set of lip grips in there, so that'll help me out. I'll probably need to get a second set or another set now that I think the kids have lost those ones. While I'm here, I've managed to get some gear, not all of it mine, just waiting for the fish to show up. So one of the downsides of going and chasing some mullet and a few prawns with Aaron, I lost me early morning fishing time. Dawn's probably the best time to get out there and try and get a few, other than dusk of course. But that's alright, we got some fresh bait, fresh is best. We'll see how we go. I've got fresh on 2 lines. I reckon the run out's better. I've still got a couple of hours at the run in left. But the run out probably is better because this will be a big eddy in here, a big backwater as the tide runs around the headland. You would have seen it on the satellite photo earlier. But, yeah, we're just going to hang out for a couple of hours. See if we get any bites. Up on the ivy, and unfortunately it didn't set the hooks, and the fish that was biting, it settled for the head. So I'm down a livey. I've thrown it back into the same spot. I'll see if he comes back for the rest of the potty. So there seems to be heaps of live bait getting around, so I don't miss the opportunity to catch a few more to chuck in the bucket, and I try and keep them alive as long as possible. I'm getting some pretty good hit ups, but I just don't seem to be able to set the hooks. I don't know what's going on. I just had to throw in the little inlet here, remembering where the sticks and where that log is. I managed to get in between a couple of these. A lot of people like big potties for barra and things like that, but I like this fish finger size. I think that just opens you up to a lot more varieties of fish that are going to be in here chasing them. Obviously there's salmon in here chasing them. I've seen a few now, and I've even caught one. So we'll chuck these out and we'll see what it brings up. I know a lot of people out there like using the FG knot to tie their braid to their leader. Personally, I just use a double uni. It seems to work for me. I've never had one let go. A lot quicker to tie and a lot simpler. If you don't know what it is, you can just give it a quick look online there. It's a really simple knot. I might do a tutorial on it one day, but for the moment, there's plenty on YouTube. May as well just jump on there and check it out. Heaps quicker. Now this tide's really ripping past here, and the water's coming up fast, a lot faster than I would have expected. That's really making the bait congregate in this little inlet, and I can't help but try and catch a few more. Unfortunately, I do get a little bit greedy here and there, and I've had to get in up to my waist more than once to try and get that net off, because I'm not ripping another net to pieces this soon after ripping the other one up. Now something I hadn't put a lot of thought into is the water's going to come up over this bank that I'm fishing on. And I don't know where I'm going to stand then. It's a pretty big flat area up to where the car is, so your rods aren't going to be in a lot of water at all. Oh, here's a little bite. There's a pretty big livey on there. Maybe he's just getting a bit active. Yeah, so I'm not sure where I'm going to fish. I mean, we can explore this this sort of swampland behind me. I imagine the water's going to go up fairly high through it. But as for fishing along the top of the tide here, I thought it was going to be good. Some nice calm water, but realistically, I don't think I'm going to be able to really get anywhere near the deep water to fish in. This little creek here is just full of bait, but that was a waste of time. I was getting good bites on the bigger rod, and I thought I had a flatty or something just coming in slow. Big piece of coral. I don't know what that's doing this far up the river, but I've just lost a fish over it, thinking this was going to be the better one. Oh well, we'll get them baited back out. Look at the water starting to come in over this flat. This water is just charging in over this flat, and this is where everyone drives and parks normally. And it's probably pretty good on the knee tides, but it's pretty big tides at the moment, so I'm glad I'm not parked down here, otherwise I'd be in some serious trouble right about now. That swampy bit's filling up, and man, does it look like good fishing. Another day though. On the plus side, it should be pretty good for catching bait. My freezer is empty. This was the last little bag of dead potties I've got that I had frozen, so take advantage of the situation. I might not be able to fish, but I should be able to catch some bait. No snags in here. Now this all filled up in under 10 minutes, would you believe that? You really wouldn't want to be parked out here when this water starts coming in, or you'd be in some serious trouble. Right, I noticed the water's come up right over this now, all these four-wheel drive tracks. Don't Don't appear to be a lot of mullet up there yet, but I've got a little bit of bread. Seems to work a treat for getting them to come up. And, you know, nobody likes the crust anyway. We'll give that a go. Probably the only real main drawback with using bread as bait is brim live too. So you end up catching a lot of brim. I've even been down the beach before and thrown chunks out and been able to catch legal brim in the cast net as they come up to feed on that bread. Now as soon as that torrential run I've been having to deal with all morning starts to slow down, the fish come on the bite. And this time I'm finally able to set some hooks and get onto something decent. No monster. Now this is another steelback salmon or beach salmon or whatever you want to call them. This is what I got when I was with Aaron. I'm unable to find a lot of info on these online, so if anyone's got a link, send it through to me. Oh, jeez. He's not happy. He wasn't going anywhere either because he's got a hook in his mouth and one in his bottom fin there. Definitely not something I was chasing, but I'll take it. I'm happy to catch any sort of fish. And then as soon as that line goes back in the water, again, another hit up straight away. Ooh. That is an unlucky hookup for this little brim. Straight in the eye. Oh, and it come out. I don't know about his chances, but let him go. It's not looking good. I've only just noticed this. Look at the water here. Pretty much on an island now. That's fine because I'm going to wait for the tide to go out. But... well, that coming out of the sand. Must be crab balls or something, eh? So as we all know, with the top of the tide comes the dead water, when there's nearly no run at all. And the fish have really come out, and I've had a heap of hookups onto some really good fish. But I'm still fishing pretty light gear, so unfortunately they've either been dropping the hooks, or a lot of them have been heading that log we've seen earlier on down at the mouth of that creek. And I think I've lost quite a lot of tackle to that log, but that's just the way it goes. So I'm finally starting to get some bites on the big rod, and I'm pretty confident whatever I get on this, I'll be able to get it in. Gotcha! Although in saying that, this is the rod I lost that massive fish, maybe dolphin to, at Black Harry, so you just never know, but this one feels a little bit smaller. I'm pretty confident I'll be able to beat this one and keep him away from that log. Did you see that? That big whipping black tail coming out of the water. Unfortunately, that means this is just another solid stingray. I mean, it's better than not catching anything, but not by a lot. And I've got to be careful here because he's up on the flats, and that's where I'm standing in the water. Don't think I'm going to be able to get this going to the bank, but I'll try and get him close enough to get the hooks off. We'll see how we go. Alright, so I ended up dragging him out of shot a little bit here, and what you haven't seen is he's actually tangled up the other rod that I've got in the water. So I feel like he's either badly tangled or he's got the hook stuck in him. As you can see here now, I'm trying to fight him on the 10-pound line, and as you'd expect, that doesn't go very well. But as I'm sure you know, these things are as tough as nails, so I'm sure a few extra hooks stuck in him won't do him any harm at all, and he'll be right. My gear, on the other hand, has taken a beating from him. This is a pretty big stingray. Not as big as the one I caught down the marina. This one busted me off on 2 rods, so pretty unimpressed by that. The morning's heating up, and I think it's about time I head off, but I'm going to go for a little bit of an explore, or I call it a day. Just going to go for a little bit of a walk and have a look at this area. This was all full of water not that long ago. Look at this down here, it's still really ripping out. You'd have to think this would be awesome to get some barra and jack, maybe even some trevally in amongst these sticks when the tide's up. Although it would be pretty hard keeping them out of the snags. But it'd be awesome fun. Maybe I'll come down here another day when the tide's big. Just come down here with a rod and walk through, flick some lures. Big schools of mullet still in here. They must stay in here for the tide. I'm surprised they don't get cooked in the sun. Both sides here. Big schools of mullet. But yeah, awesome little spot down here at Devil's Elbow. You definitely need a 4-wheel drive to get in. Maybe an all-wheel drive if you like risking it. I've still got to get out yet, so that's going to be a bit of a mission. Oh, there. It's a bit hard to tell on camera, but that's pretty steep. Alright, well I'll go and chuck the last bit of the gear in the patrol and we'll hit it up. Righto guys, that's me done for another episode. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I've had a good time out here at Devil's Elbow. We've got a few fish. Managed to get, caught a couple of steelies, so that was good. A few little bream. I mean, I've heard of some big fish being caught here, just didn't happen for me today, but I'll be back another day, that's for sure. I'd just like to remind you guys that I've got Facebook set up, so I've got the page there for Aussie Doss. You can jump on that, have a chat to me if you want, suggest anything you want me to do or places to check out. I'm all ears for that sort of thing. I've got Instagram as well. It's on there, similar name. I can't remember, have a look. It's got a few photos and a few bits and pieces on there you won't find on YouTube or Facebook as well. I've got Patreon set up now as well for anybody who wants to donate. You definitely don't need to. I'm going to keep doing these things regardless. I enjoy getting out here by myself and with the family and showing you guys some spots that you can come and check out with your family or by yourself as well. But it is there if you feel like you want to donate. That's great too. It's going to help me get out here and do these things a little bit more regularly. Anyway, that's it from me guys. I'm just going to leave you with this view of Devil's Elbow from above.